It's another Luke-N-SHAE'S Place production. And as always, we ask that you like, share, subscribe, comment, and be sure to turn on your notifications to let you know when we are putting out another hot banger Luke-N-SHAE'S Place video.
Hello and welcome back to Luke-N-SHAE'S Place. So glad you could stop by. Hope you're wearing your smile. We have a banger discussion for you planned, and I'm so glad you guys could stop by. Before we begin, go ahead and click that like button. It's so important. Click that like button so that way we can grow our platform and that we can get our show in the algorithm. People can find us as we're posting and going live like we're doing tonight. And also go ahead and put a heart in the comment section or give us some feedback and we'll reply. And don't forget to subscribe. That is important. It's 100% free. And click that notification bell so that way you get notified when we'll be posting. How's everybody doing tonight?
Blessed and doing well over here.
Pretty good.
We have a special guest, Sharonda, in the house. She's joining us again. We'd like to appreciate and tell her thank you for joining us. We got some more people supposed to be coming in a little bit later. We want to go ahead and get started.
All right. Glad to have Sharonda this evening.
God made Adam a suitable helpmate, and he made that helpmate not because she's weaker, but because God has given men a capacity and a responsibility that women do not have, and we have to be honest about it. We can say he's not a man, he doesn't know how to lead, he doesn't whatever. There's still a capacity inside of him that God did not give us as women. And one of the biggest examples that I can
Luke, your video is not sharing on this end.
Training. And you're in New York City, and if you've ever been to New York City or in France and it starts raining and people start selling umbrellas on the street.
Wait a minute, you're saying it's not showing?
Now it is. When you first started playing it, it wasn't up there, but it is up there now. It just looks like you gotta make it full screen.
Sharonda, do you see it?
Yes.
It's there now. It wasn't there when you first started it.
That's what I'm saying. I could see it though. It was there when I'm on the screen over here looking at it. See, that's why I was doing this whole thing with trying to get the bubbles in here. But I see it on here. Let's see if I can get us in there. Let's see. That's gonna be. Well, I should be fine. Okay, we'll take it from the top again. Hold on. Okay.
God made Adam a suitable helpmate, And he made that helpmate not because she's weaker, but because God has given men a capacity and a responsibility that women do not have. And we have to be honest about it. We can say he's not a man, he doesn't know how to lead, he doesn't whatever. There's still a capacity inside of him that God did not give us as women. And one of the biggest examples that I can give of that, imagine it's raining and you're in New York City. And if you've ever been to New York City or in France and it starts raining and people start selling umbrellas on the street, those $5, $10 umbrellas, they're not worth much, but they get the job done until you get home. Imagine you have that man. You have the man that gets the job done, isn't anything special, but he gets the job done. That man, no matter how little you view him, is made to handle the rain. You were not made to handle the rain, but you were made to hold up that which can handle the rain. If you didn't have that umbrella, you would come back home smelling like what you were poured on, what poured on you. When a man comes back in as that umbrella, he gets dried quickly, water repellent, it falls off of him, and no matter how equipped you thought he still was built for the rain. The difference also, some of you want that Neiman Marcus umbrella. Some of you want the wood handle. Those things are heavy. And if God gave you a man like that, then you have to be the woman that can hold up that man. Because an umbrella that is not used, it can be for the rain, for the sun. It shields, it provides shade. It allows what's under it not to be touched. We are the vessel, not weaker. We are the vessel that was meant to let the one that God gave us be held up and used for what he was made. So now, as a wife, I want to say, I don't want to get wet. I don't want to sunburn. My skin's not built for that. So instead, I'm going to let the man be who he was meant to be. And if God gave me, which he did, my man's about as heavy as this table. That means God made me capable of holding him up. If my man is not doing what he was made to do, it's because I, as his wife, am not holding him up.
Okay, well, that was really deep. Any opinions? Anybody want to take that?
I love that analogy. I love it. Love it. I love it. I totally agree.
Well, that was pretty deep. She definitely hit that on the head. She knocked that one out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you feel is the problem today then with dating and allowing the man to play that role?
I'll just go ahead and start and say two things. That analogy, I've never heard it before, right? So I've never heard that he's just there to get the job done. And the reference between a no name and a name and one have a hairier call in or wait to him. Never saw it like that, but I understand it. But I think what keeps women from wanting to hold up an umbrella instead of just going ahead and get wet and then dry off and do all the things is because we've had malfunctioning umbrellas. And so some just have not done the job.
Where's Sharonda go? She disappeared. Oh, Sharonda, like she having some difficulties over here. So what do you think, Shay? You on the show? Do you think it's the malfunctioning umbrellas or? Is your mic working?
I was going to give her time to get back. If you want to, you could play a little bit more until she gets back. I don't want to have a discussion without her because she's not going to hear my talking point. So.
No, I was going to have to play it again.
Yeah, I would play the video a little bit, play it again until she gets back on. That way, because I mean, I agree with the lady said. I agree with what she said. There she is. Yeah, I'll let her finish her talking point.
I'm so sorry. I don't know where you all didn't hear me.
You just went out after.
Okay, I was just saying sometimes I think women have experienced malfunctioning umbrellas. And so though we would
So you
love for
saying they
women
got broken umbrellas?
to,
See, but well, I think she was touching on that subject right there because
hmm
so many women demanding today. That's why she went into the Neiman Marcus, where the
hmm
woman will say, "I want the man making 200,000, 300,000." That's the
hmm
Neiman Marcus umbrella. Where she's saying that you can go get to any place and get any umbrella, but that umbrella it can do the job.
hmm
So that's what she was stating more so than anything else. It's the
hmm
umbrella that you choose more so
hmm
than it was the umbrella being broke. It was the umbrella that we choose. There's plenty of people out here that plenty of men that could do what you need them to do, but you're not interested in them. You're more interested in the Neiman Marcus umbrella. When that umbrella, like my father used to say, a car does the same thing. It doesn't make it different. It takes you from point A to point B. Don't make it with what model you got. It's all do the same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But some people want the more expensive umbrella. And if you want the more expensive umbrella, it's going to be tougher to carry.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I everything she said I agree with. What I was making sure that I answer, you said, why do women not allow men to do what they've been called to do, especially when it's coming to dating? Sometimes it doesn't matter. Even Neiman Marcus umbrellas don't open up when you want them to. Some of them break and have the little handle thing that makes the umbrella part slouch and the water still gets on you. So it doesn't matter if it's a no name or if it's a name brand. There are, to use her analogy, umbrellas that just have not worked for you and you still got wet. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why some women are like, I'll just get wet.
but
I'll
that's
take it, have to redo my hair. I'll
but
get clothes and stuff.
it's still boiling down to you
hmm
taking the umbrella that you want. You see what she's saying is it's not the umbrella that you want. See, if every woman was taking the man that's best for them, see, that's what she's saying. The man that's best for them is going to cover them. But see,
hmm
every man they don't want. They only want the ones they want. Now, if you picking a broke umbrella, that's on you for picking it. But there was
Hear
a
what I'm
fine
saying. Hear what
umbrella.
I'm saying, Luke, before you go on, because I think
Mhm.
what you're doing is taking it out of context. Here's what I'm saying. I agree. It doesn't need to be Neiman Marcus for everybody. It doesn't need to be name brand for everyone. But even those umbrellas in all of our situations in life have been broken. It didn't mean they started broken. It may have
But,
come out heavy or light. It kept us dry one day. The next day it did not. I'm answering the question why some women do not allow
mhm.
men
but
to
that's
cover.
but that
So
but
it
I
doesn't mean that they're choosing broken umbrellas. Those
mhm.
I
sometimes
agree. I agree
I'm
100%.
right.
Luke
Some
and
But,
I, we had that
sometimes
discussion the other day. I agree 100% what you're
but
saying.
that
It just, you don't always know when you get with someone that
yeah.
they're a certain way. Sometimes you can get with a person, okay? And the first 3 years of that relationship, everything's great, whatever the case might be. 2 years go into it, you say, I do, you're walking down the aisle, everything. And then all of a sudden, this monster comes out of nowhere and wants to throw hands. Or this monster, he might not have ever showed that before. But one day, you don't know that person until you know that person, however long that takes. He might not have ever cheated, but one day he cheated, right? Even a person who doesn't have high value and making 100K a year plus can do some broken stuff, right? It don't have nothing to do with the amount of money he has in his pocket. It's
but
the person, and you might not know that person right away. You might not. That just because their behavior might come out later on, something else might be festering and it comes out years later. Okay. We had that conversation the other day. I told you about somebody who married someone and years later he threw hands. She didn't know. Everything was peachy. The family loved him until he
I'm
put
saying,
hands. Then we found out how he was.
I think y'all misunderstanding what she's saying. That's why. I think y'all misunderstood. That's why I said we're gonna watch it again. What she's saying is women tend to pick the men that they want. So you're picking the broke umbrella. So that's why I'm telling you that. She's saying there's men out here that would cater to do what they have to with you, but you don't want them. They will be fine umbrellas, but I'm not attracted to them. So that's where she used the analogy of the Neiman Marcus, where the women are saying, I don't want a cheap umbrella from Walmart. I want the $150,000 a year man. That's what she was using that comparison at. None of the umbrellas are broke. She's saying that this is the umbrella that you choose. You're not choosing that umbrella, that $2 umbrella, but it will get the job done. But you won't choose that one. You don't want that umbrella. You want that. You'll settle for that Neiman Marcus umbrella. And so that umbrella is a little bit bigger. It's going to be harder to carry. So this was the analogy she was giving. It wasn't about the man being a broke man or that man. Because see, like I said, when you out here today, you got men out here that would love to have you. You just don't want them. For whatever reason, you don't want them. You don't want them. Plenty of good men been put in friend zone. And you just don't see them as that. But they wanted more. They come, they help you out, they talk to you, they do all the things that a good umbrella does, but you just saying, I don't want that umbrella. I would rather take my chances and get wet than to get this umbrella. That's what the analogy is saying to me. But we could watch it again, and we
don't have to, because we got it. And I think that's why these shows are so good, because we saw it from our perspective. I know exactly. Well, this is what she said to me, that we have to recognize that there's something on the inside of a man that women will never have, and that is their ability to cover no matter what their price tag comes with. If we will allow them to do the job, because we're not meant to cover ourselves. That's what she was saying. I get it. The whole analogy wasn't between Neiman Marcus or no name brand. The analogy was understand that men carry something that we don't, and we need to recognize it. Okay, so I got it. But don't ask the question to me if you don't want me to answer.
Oh no,
because some of us don't let y'all cover because y'all failed the job.
But that's what I was saying.
I need to recognize. Yeah, we do recognize that it would take more strength to uphold a man with a larger vision or a deeper calling or more. And it's not even just price tag, because, like I said, anybody can function and anybody can break. And we could have a broken wrist and not be able to uphold the umbrella no matter what the amount of the umbrella was. So, yeah, so those are the things that happen. And I like it. I like what she's saying, because I don't want to have to cover myself. I don't want to do it. I don't care. If I'm trying to avoid getting wet, I'm not looking at the name brand. I do want the job to be done. I'm not looking at somebody looking at me like, is this a bigger umbrella? Just, can I stay dry? So that's cool. I love it. And I agree. I don't want both jobs.
But see, that's what I was saying. I was trying to get you. Maybe I should have worded the question better. I was thinking you're going to build off of what she had said on there, because that was part of it. She was saying, because we live in a society now that perpetuate everybody wants something that they shouldn't want all the time. And that's what I was more focused on, because that's what we got today, where you got, like I said, I'm not attracted to him. I'm not attracted to him in that way. You get those conversations. And she's saying, and then we got the women that say they don't need a man at all. So that in that sense right there, but she's saying, okay, well, you're saying you don't need a man, but the man was put here to do certain things that you couldn't. And you're hollering you don't need it. But when it rains, like I said, she was like, well, don't make what difference kind of man you got. When it rains, as long as you got a man to protect you from the rain, you good. And some women say, well, no, I just don't want that cheap umbrella. I want the best umbrella.
That's true. But can I flip the tables? Because I do hear the narrative that you're talking about. I do. The women who want the man that makes all this money and the man that's flashy and that can take care of them. I hear it. It is true. But what about the women out there who just want a good man, but that man wants the more attractive or model-like or shapely woman or the more beautiful, and then they overlook a stronger arm that can uphold their calling for the weaker arm, and then wonder why they falling short. I just don't want the narrative to be that all these women want is their money, because I know plenty of women who just want good men who will take care of them well, And they are not, when I tell you they are not concerned with your money, they're not. But that doesn't mean everybody's gonna get along. But let's not leave out the women who are just looking for great character, no matter what the bank account says, because they exist, and they exist in the droves. But you know, when you don't hear about a lot of good women, because the bad women keep getting the narrative. Let's give sight and light to those who don't care, and that will take that New York umbrella right off the shoulder, but upload and uphold them. Promise to God they would.
Okay, well, we're gonna look at another video. And
Well, can I comment though? Like,
yeah, go right ahead. Nobody's stopping you.
Sorry,
The floor is open.
yeah, I was waiting. I was about to jump double dutch. I'm over here like waiting to jump in the rope. But no, I agree with Sharonda 100%. I agree with the video as well. What the woman said, and her analogy for the umbrella was great. And to add, to piggyback on that whole topic, it's not just the women. See, so how I'm looking at it is, because I know a lot of times we'll sit here and be like, okay, oh, there's women, you know, and they want the high value guy. They want the other guy. They'll overlook the Walmart guy. I never been that woman to overlook that guy, the cart guy. If he's doing everything right, he can have 3 jobs, whatever he's doing, as long as he's providing. And me and him have a connection, I'm great with that. I don't need the corporate guy, okay? And just like Sharonda just said, she doesn't know a lot of women that are like that. And if I'm saying that, because I say that to you a lot, Luke, I don't know any women like that. So if both of us, there's 2 women on this platform that don't know women that are out here doing that. I know that there's, but you guys seem to talk about the women who are doing that. What about the good women who aren't doing that? And I think that gets pushed in the shadows, that there are still good women here, because it's not just women that are saying they don't need a man. There's also the leaders. Our kings are out here saying they don't need a woman, they don't need a wife. And what we're living in now is what you have is the modern Jim Crow time. And we're pushing it on each other. We're dividing our own relationships. The family can't come together because you have the men saying they don't need a woman and the women saying they don't need a man. You got the red pill, blue pill, green pill, all these pills, and black people won't come together because of that.
You never heard a man say he don't need no woman.
Yes, you're one of them. You tell me there's nothing in a marriage for a man. You're one of the people that say it all the time.
That's exactly. That's going to always be true. Because
you just said there's no men out here saying it, and they say it all the time. There's platforms and platforms of black men that are saying that.
Okay, so
they're telling people to run from the women because there's nothing good. Women are out here.
They're not saying run from the woman. They're saying be aware of what that woman can do to you.
Yeah, but what I'm hearing on these platforms is...
me and Sharonda right now was to get married, and we have a child, and we separate, and if she divorces and she leaves me, she takes half of my stuff and she takes my child.
Okay, well,
but when you say that, that's going into a marriage fearful. That's why men won't get married, because you're already having that in your mind. So he's not going to want to get married at all.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Was that statement
thing in my marriage? I actually asked not to.
Okay, so was that statement? But hold on. Was the statement that just made? Was it true?
What?
That when we got divorced, you got the kids and you take half the stuff, right?
I just told you I didn't ask for a thing.
No, we're not talking about you personally. We saying in America right now, if I got married to you and we separated, we divorced, would you take the child?
I never did either. So that tells you that's not all women doing that. We had an agreement to see the children, and I didn't take no money, nothing. So every woman's not doing that.
Since y'all ain't gonna answer, we're gonna go ahead and get to the next video. Because what y'all doing is not y'all moving along. The point here is in America, a man loses everything. I know. That's what we're saying. So we're gonna get to the next video.
But that's the reason why, and that's my point exactly. When you have men out here saying that, it puts fear in other men's mind to not even attempt to get married. And so that's why black people will not be getting together, because you have all these different color pills that are pushing this whole narrative that all black women are out here bad. Black women are at the bottom of the barrel. Even we talk about the South African thing, the stuff that's being done wrong is to the black women. Look it up. We're always going to be at the bottom, and you guys are making it worse. You're supposed to be the head, the lead of the women. Help us come together. Don't bring us apart. But you want to go ahead and play that video. That's fine.
Because
Most
this is
answered
the
very
reality.
quickly, no, because men are useless.
I mean, it's never the man saying this.
It caught my eye. Most young men are single. Most young women are not.
Young men have fallen faster than any demographic in America over the last 40 years.
It's a different world now. Like, we don't need men the way that they used to.
Nobody needs men.
The future is female.
Men and women are drifting.
It's only the video you chose is why they're saying that.
Because of it.
A fascinating debate has broken out about the value of marriage.
This is all news.
The trad con versus red pill thing.
This men's rights crowd that sometimes just goes too far the other way.
You need to stop acting like grown boys and infants and actually become men.
Marriage is a bond, and it's a sacred bond.
It's a machine designed to extract resources from you.
Now many of the red-pilled have taken the position that it's bad for men to get married.
Hannah Pearl Davis, or just Pearly Things.
One of the most controversial faces in all of the internet.
She goes on to say that marriage is a terrible deal for men.
Because if me and you were in a business contract, you would never sign a contract where I am paid to leave.
Gee, what could go wrong there?
74% or something of divorces are initiated by women. Men have.
Let's stop right there. Did you hear that? 80% of divorces in America are initiated by who? Women. And so when we say there's nothing in it for a man, that's what we're talking about. Because you can divorce me, take my family, and take half my stuff. I can't divorce you and take half your stuff. Even if I don't want to take it, I don't got the rights to take it.
So here's the thing. It's so one-sided because, once again, you're assuming that women don't come in marriages with their own things. So when you say you can't take half of her stuff or she's going to take half of your stuff, hear me, you have to assume that if she's not working, she's that one holding you up to do it. If she came in with her own stuff and that split in half, both of y'all are now getting half. I'm not saying that people haven't done men wrong, but I am not saying that women haven't been done wrong either. Women might be the ones to initiate divorce, but let's not forget why. There is always something under the root of something to make it happen. So I don't even want to hear this narrative that men don't get nothing out of a marriage. We just watched a video at the beginning that talked about holding you up. And I'm telling you, when women have held up this country, held up men, sometimes they're the last person to get thanked for it and the first one to get blamed when it goes wrong. I'm tired of it. And I want you to look at the faces of these people on here. They're not.
But what we're saying still.
That's true.
In America, there was a 50-50 thing that when we got divorced, it was 50-50. And they could have made it 50-50. In America, 95% of the time, the woman's going to get the child and she's going to take half your stuff. Whether you did it or not, that's up to you. But at the same time, this is what's happening in America. That's just the reality. So
but this is the fear tactic.
That's not a fear tactic. If I was telling you 95% of the women in America was being great, okay? In marriage, you wouldn't be advising women to go get married. You wouldn't be like, oh yeah, go jump into that. No, you wouldn't. That's a reality. Because if it was real, you wouldn't do it. If they're taking half of the stuff, that you're not going to incentivize nobody to jump in there and just jump in there and just go ahead willy-nilly. That's what we're saying. It ain't about whether or not the person is this or somebody trying to throw fear. Fear don't scare nobody into marriage or not. It's saying beware. If your car could crash and it's a dangerous curve, the signs are on the street that says, look, danger curve ahead. It's not telling you to get scared. It's telling you what you up against. That's not telling you to get scared. That's telling you the real. There's a curve up ahead that if you're asleep and if you're not awake, if you're not conscious, you can have an accident. That's entirely different. And that's what they're saying when they're saying it's nothing in it for a man. Because again, listen to the video. They tell you what men lose. This is real. It's not no fear. Men are losing. But that's the point we were making. I don't know what happened to Sharonda when can she come back. But maybe she will. But that's the point. When you listen to the video is only educating to the fact that this is what's happening to men. Men are committing suicide at a higher rate.
Yeah, you can't say that. Men are unlifing themselves. This is YouTube. You can't say that S word. But yeah, they're unlifing themselves. But this is the thing with that. Just like Sharonda said, and hopefully she can get back on, look at the women in the video that you're playing, for one. For two, you're playing a video that you specifically picked out for that purpose. I can go on and find plenty of videos with men that are saying even more heinous things that you are. Now, I agree 100% that women out here, yeah, we have some things we have to get right. Okay. There's some things that I do see women, no women in my circle. And, according to Sharonda, none in her circle as well. And so I don't know none of the women that you're talking about, none of the women that I hang with and know act like the women that you guys are, these women that are doing all this. I don't have them in my circle. So with that being said, it's hard for me to sit here and say that all women are like this when I know a bunch of them that aren't.
If you don't date women, you won't have to say it. You're not dating them. And you won't lose. They won't marry you and take half your stuff. You will never lose. So yeah, I can say that too.
It's not about that. It's about, I also am a mother and I also have daughters and I have sons. So I don't want that to fall on my children where people have that whole mindset. Because I have twins that are listening to men that push that same thing that you're doing. And what happens is they tend to say, oh man, there ain't nothing. There ain't nobody at the high school, man. Ain't no girls. They all the same. They're thinking that way. See, that's a whole brainwashing tactic. And you have teenagers that are now thinking that there's nothing in it for even dating because they listen to all this red pill stuff brainwashing them. And I tell them, look, that's not of God. God's not telling us to be out here separating. This is another tactic that our people are doing to keep each other apart. That's all. We're the modern day Jim Crow.
You got to share the mic. So you're saying today that don't happen to men, right?
I never said it.
No. We want to make sure you're clear. The red pill is out here just throwing fear into men not to get married because the stuff that the red pill is talking about is not actually happening. It's just something you're saying to men that got men scared. That's what you're saying, right?
I didn't say it didn't happen. I didn't say some of these things didn't happen, what you're saying, but at the rate you're talking, like Sharonda said, people are getting married. You act like every man that's marrying a woman, the woman's coming into the marriage with nothing. She just got a little bag, a little sack on her back, and she's just coming into this household with nothing. That doesn't work like that. That doesn't work like that at all. Sometimes the woman is the one that has the house and he's coming into the household. It doesn't work the way you guys are saying it. You act like every man out here, all right, she's coming into my house and it don't work like that. People merge together. They come together with their things, not just his things. Okay, so, and then the kids is not just his, it's not just hers, it's theirs. So they're both going to be taking hits with things. I'm not saying that some of this stuff doesn't happen with all the things that you speak of and then he's paying child support or whatever. But you have ratchet women out here that are purposely getting pregnant by some of these men for that purpose to take your money. And you guys are picking those women. The Bible said a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. You're picking the women to marry. You guys are in charge of marrying. So you're picking the wrong women that you're marrying. Just like we just talked earlier in the first video, that women, they're going for that guy with the most money. So you guys are going for that woman with the good looking, that good looking, beautiful woman. Like Sharonda said, you're not picking that wholesome woman that's going to hold you down. You're not looking for that woman that's more like the Proverb 31 woman. You're looking for the one that's eye-catchy and flashy, and your boys are going to be like, oh man, look at her. And then she goes and she takes your money. You're the one that picked her, right? So how are you coming for all women if that's the kind of woman that you picked? You didn't pick the woman that was more like your mom, right? She mimicked your mom's behaviors. You didn't pick her. That church-going woman.
No, the men do not pick women because see, men pick women now based off of sex because the low-hanging fruit. Most
well,
women,
then whose fault is that if y'all picking them based off of sex?
That's not what I say. That's why it's empirical. The point here is men pick women to have sex with. The low-hanging fruit. They're not trying to get married. They don't want to marry them. Then when it comes to finding a wife, they're looking for good women to marry. Now, if you out here halfway naked and looking like you, they're gonna pick you for that reason. Men are telling you they don't want those women to marry. They don't tell you right up at the front. They're not gonna bring that home to their mother.
But those are the women that you're talking about that's doing this stuff. Those are the women you guys are talking about. The very ones that you're picking to just screw are the ones that they are wifing up.
Mary J. Blige lost in court and a man won. See, why was that so profound? Because that's the only time and one of the fewest times a man ever went and took money from a woman. And 99% of the cases of marriage, the woman wins. That's what they're saying. So that's what we're talking about. They went crazy when that man took that money from Mary J. Blige.
So we talk about we talk about this all the time. Men are in charge of what and women are in charge of what? Men are in charge of what?
Who they marry.
Okay, and women are in charge of what?
Sex.
Okay, so if that's the case, if you're in charge of who you marry, who are you marrying then?
Ma'am, when you meet a woman,
because plenty of times we have conversations, oh, it's the guys that women are picking. You can't go marrying somebody and then a couple years later, oh Lord, she's not for me, he's not for me. Well, you're saying that the women are getting divorced, but the man is the one that picked her, right? He picked her. So years later, if she's in her feelings, oh my gosh, I just don't feel a connection anymore, she's getting divorced, that's the woman he picked. Did he get to know her?
So that's
the Bible says a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. The Bible, God's not making a mistake. Y'all just ain't picking the right women.
You gotta learn how to share the mic. You made a whole statement on that for about 2 minutes now. We gotta stop. The point we're making is men in general. You can get beat on it. So what we're saying at this point in time, you don't know the women you're marrying. So we're saying that's what the point is saying is nothing in marriage for a man. If there's nothing, they're saying there's nothing in it until you find that right person. Any person at any point in time, we watched a video the other day where the young lady said she had a good man, he did all of these things, but she was still going to cheat on him. The point we're making is we're saying, be aware of this. Yeah, you can still get beat. You're in charge of who you marry, but be careful what you're doing out here because, yeah, they can do this to you. That's like saying, oh,
but see, that's common sense. That's common sense. For you to say that, though, you said, okay, you don't know who you're married till you find the right one to marry. So then find the right one to marry. So that's the whole point. And then to say, oh, this could happen. We know that could happen. That's something that, hold on, because you told me we're sharing the mic, but you're cutting me off. We know that can happen, but you create fear when you're saying that all the time. Oh, you guys are making podcast after podcast about this whole thing. And the men that are doing it, they're making so many podcasts about this hate and they're single. Okay. They don't have a wife at all.
Let me ask you a question. If you were hearing about planes that were crashing, would you promote getting on planes then? Would you tell everybody to get on planes?
That's happening now and I haven't been on none.
We don't need to get personal. Would you get on the plane? Would you get on the plane?
I just answered that question. I said planes are falling down now and you don't see me on none. So that's a no. That's a no. I would not be.
That's the point. When men get married, they lose every time. The majority of the time, they're going to lose. So that's what they're not throwing fair. That's what's really happening. They're losing. So we're saying beware that if you get married and she decides she want to divorce you because she's not happy, you're going to lose again. That's what they're saying. They're not saying, oh, don't get into this. Nobody said that. That's what we're trying to tell you now. The point here is they have made a whole movie about that. And everything that you saw in this video is real. It's not made up. Ain't nobody sitting around going, okay, well, let's get these people scared to get married. No, we're telling you the truth. You're not a man, so you will never face it.
Okay, and I have I just seen this maybe like a week ago, and it just so happened I was doing my son's hair, and as I'm doing, can you add her back to the stage? As I'm doing my son's hair, okay, and I'll wait till she comes back on. Luke, you adding her back to the stage? Okay, so as I was saying, like I just saw this a week ago because we're having that discussion, Sharonda, still where he's saying why men are saying there's nothing in a marriage for a man. So I'm telling him with this whole red pill stuff with the men that are putting this out here because it's a fear tactic, because everybody knows that something could go wrong in a marriage. It's almost like the mindset of, will you marry me? Hold on a second. You have to, because you just told me that we need to share a mic.
But you got to stop wording stuff.
No, you have to stop cutting me off so I can get my point across. So
stop calling it a fear tactic. It's real. If it's actually happening.
But you're cutting me off. You can say that when I'm finished because you're going to make me forget my point. So
people, stop using the word fear tactic.
That's what it is, because it's not of God. God didn't tell you to go around here telling people there's nothing in a marriage for anybody. That's not of God. So as I was saying, okay, I was doing my son's hair and he was watching this and I was like, this is not really good. You got the teenagers watching this stuff, but I'm glad it was on because of an example. There was a red pill podcast. It was the Fresh and Fit, and I'm going to say that, and watching that, and he was at a college. And college students was talking to him, and everybody was going up asking him questions. He's like, "Oh, look at you! Look at your hair! Look, you're fat! You're this." So he's saying all this, and then this one guy walked up. He said, "You know what? I really like your podcast." He was like, "Oh, thank you." He said, "I watched you guys for a lot of years." He said, "And I was treating women the way you guys were basically promoting it on your podcast. I was just going out here reckless, dogging women out. I was just sleeping with them. I didn't even want a real relationship with them." He said, "You know what? That ruined my life. I was depressed. I wasn't happy. There was nothing going good for me at that time." He said, "I stopped watching you guys." He said, "And my life turned around. I gave my life to Christ. I'm married and I now have kids." That came from a man's mouth that said he used to listen to all this stuff that y'all putting out here and his life was not good. He was dogging women out and he didn't have a real relationship, a real foundation.
We'll have a discussion when he get the divorce and see how he come out. That's what we're saying. And that's
what's sad is most of the men that are putting this out here are not even married their own self. So
have everything to lose, primarily their own children.
Men get killed by the courts and by divorce laws.
I had no idea that courts of family law were courts of equity, not courts of law.
Because in family court, you don't need evidence to accuse someone of abuse. You need no evidence. When you guys say get married young, a lot of these men don't know what they're signing up for, and you're not going to be there when their entire life falls apart. I interview them on the other side.
I didn't meet my son until he was 15 months old.
How much did you spend trying to get him back?
On legal fees alone was about $200,000.
Before you know it, legal fees alone, $200,000. See, that's reality. This ain't no joke. This ain't no fear tactic. This is really happening. It ain't no joke. It ain't no, oh, we got to scare you. No, this is really happening. That man that you talking about, see, he got a hope she don't get unhappy. Because if she get unhappy and divorce him, whatever he got, he about to share. And if you got any children, you're going to now have to visit them.
This is the only thing that you guys are putting. No, I'm talking, please. So what I wanted to say is that's like walking into a marriage with it is fear. That's like going to a marriage, proposing to that woman and say, hey, can you sign this prenup? You're going into the marriage and you're already asking her to sign a prenup. That means you're already going into it. You're expecting something to fail, right? You're not even going to go and give that marriage to God. You're saying, oh, a marriage is for God, right? You stand before God and you take your vows. But that's saying, God, I don't trust you in my marriage. I don't trust you because this woman can take half of my stuff. I'm going to marry her, Lord, but if it fails, she's going to take all my stuff. That's fear. That's fear.
I just asked you a question a few minutes ago. If you, now I'm going to ask you the same question, Sharonda. You saw planes falling out the sky, just planes were just falling. Would you tell people to take flight, Shante?
You already asked me that. I don't see her on here.
Well, she popped out. Would you take flights?
Who are you asking that to? Because I already answered that.
That's what's happening. We're saying men are taking a beating. You're not listening to the video. That man just paid $200,000 out just to see his child. That's real. And there's a bunch of men doing it. That's why they're making the movie. They wouldn't be making a movie if it wasn't happening. And nobody cares that that's happening. And you're saying, well, go ahead and marry her. You don't know how she's going to turn out. You don't know when she's going to get unhappy. There was a woman we just watched said that she was sleeping. She had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend was really good to her. She could call her anytime. He would come. Did she say she wanted to marry him, Shante? What did she say she was going to do to him?
First of all, look at the type of woman you're talking about. See what I mean? You're talking about a certain kind of woman. I don't know any women like her.
The question is, what did the lady say she was going to do?
You're talking about something that Sharonda don't know what you're talking about.
See, that's what I'm saying.
The video basically
that's the reality. That's what
no, it's not, Luke. You're picking a certain kind of woman and you're putting the label that all women are like that, and that's not cool.
Nobody said all women are like that. We're saying if you get in a relationship or a marriage with a woman, you don't know the outcome of it. That's what we're saying. A woman.
That's my point. That's my point. If you don't know the outcome and you assume it's going to fail, that's fear. That's fear.
Initiated by who? 80% of divorces are initiated by who?
I don't.
Now, when that man took
so let's go ahead and make even even playing field. Divorces happen. They say 50% or higher, both in the church and outside the church. This is facts. Statistics are like statistics. Okay, so we got that. Women initiated more. But if we only look at stats from a one-sided view, then we're going to get a one-sided perspective. Luke, I know that there are women out here that have went and intentionally harmed a man using their children as the bait. It is a fact. It has happened. I know women who literally went after the man who was the most wealthy because they knew that they could take it.
We got me and Sharon did a podcast on a young lady that married two men. And she was telling, after she got married to him, how she wanted to take pictures and go on places and how she wanted to have sex with whoever the heck she wanted to have sex with. And she divorced both of the men and took the money.
Okay. Say it again.
That's reality.
Yes. So that's
she did. But the thing about that, Luke, the woman that you're talking about, this is the point I made when Sharonda wasn't on here. The woman that you're talking about, that second husband actually helped her pay for the first husband's divorce. He knew what he was getting into. He helped her walk out of her first marriage. It's the women that you guys are picking, right? A man is in charge of marriage. And like I said, I know that there's women out here doing ratchet stuff because I see it in the videos. But you guys are in charge of marriage. You just brought up a woman, an example of a woman who the second husband paid for her divorce of the first husband. And then she was moving on with him before she was even done with that guy. He saw her basically having a relationship with him before her marriage was over. How is he expecting her to be faithful to him? Okay, that's the woman he picked because she looked good. She looked good. Like Sharonda said, you guys aren't picking the woman that's going to be strong and by your side. You want the woman that looks good, and then years later, oh, she's taking my money. But that's the chick that you wanted to look good around you and your boys, right? And now all of a sudden, when it fails, you're like, dang, I didn't pick the girl at church.
That's all lies. Men pick women, like I said, and I'm going to say this again because you didn't hear it the first time. Men pick low-hanging fruit to have sex with. They don't pick those women to marry. They look for good women to marry. You got the option today as a woman to say, I would leave this marriage because I'm not happy. Back in the day, you couldn't leave a marriage because you were just not happy. You had to have proof why you wanted to leave a marriage. That's what right now the president is saying. He don't want no contested divorces.
But you just gave an example of a man who picked a woman who was still in a marriage with another man and he paid for it. So he chose that woman because she looked good, not because she was a good wife. Not because she would have been a good wife. She looked good. And she did to him the same thing she did to her first husband.
The point I'm making is still the same. See, no matter what, you married a woman and she took half your stuff. She's still a woman, and at the end of the day, she's taking half of your stuff. At the end of the day, beware that this could happen to you. Beware, there's a dangerous curve up here that if you're not awake, you can go off it and hurt yourself. Be aware. That's what it's saying. It's not saying you shouldn't do it. It's saying be aware what could happen. And we're showing you that what's happening to men. Men are losing their life at an alarming rate. Because you don't. This man paid $200,000. You can't even fathom paying $200,000 to see your child. And it'll never happen to you, so you will never understand it. Just like I can't tell you what goes on when a woman has a child.
It'll never happen to me because I would never do that. And like I said, my example is I came to agreement for seeing the kids, working out things. I wasn't one of the chicks that was out for his money. So
you can't talk about what you wouldn't do. The reality is 90% of the time when a woman leaves a man in divorce, she's taking his kids, she's taking his family, she's taking half his stuff. She was awarded, even though that woman was cheating, she still got half his stuff. He lost even though she was the one cheating. That's what we're saying. And that's the reality. Right now, you can marry a man today and tomorrow say, I'm unhappy and leave. It ain't gotta be he did anything to you. He ain't gotta hit you. He ain't gotta do anything. You can just say, I'm unhappy and leave. And that is not safe.
Okay, cool. I guess here's my question. So what's the solution? Should we just be like the millennials and just say marriage shouldn't be because of what other people have done? Or should we begin to be the light and begin to use wisdom and a whole lot more Holy Spirit guidance? I mean, because we can cry about it. It's happened. Just like a woman can cry about it. What is the solution? Do we just say we can hurt each other, so let's stay apart? Or do we say
it's not hurting each other, ma'am? If only one person, if only one person can lose his family, we're not hurting each other. Only one of us is hurting. See, if you
hold on a second, but no, you can't say that because all women are not leaving because of their feelings. Okay, let's dispel that right now. Every woman is not just leaving for that. There is things that people need to do on the man's side and the woman's side. And I've said that to you plenty of times what Sharonda said. Okay, what is the solution? Listen, we are here for a reason. God didn't just put me here to talk about things. Okay, as a woman who knows the word, I should be spreading the word and helping people. So if I see women are like that, I'm not going to sit here and keep saying, let's fix it. You guys are the leaders. You're supposed to be the head, right? So let's do something. The mothers of church, women who see that their daughters and other women are like that, let's do something about it. And it's not just the women. Let's also talk to the men and say, hey, when you get in a marriage, that's your wife. You're standing before God and you're saying, hey, I do say yes to being with this woman for the rest of my life. So when he goes and unzips his pants to another woman, you can't get mad that she can't handle adultery and she walks out. But to sit here and say that women are walking out because of their feelings, no, cheating goes on at an alarming rate, sir. And let's not act like men don't cheat. Some women can't handle it, but then you're telling her she should stay. She should stay, but if she can't handle that, then that's her choice to leave.
Okay, she can't handle it. Okay, cool. You cheat on God every day. Do he stop loving you? See, when he gave the book,
but you're asking a woman, you're saying that these divorces are because she fell out, she's all about her feelings. A lot of it is about cheating, sir. Why don't you tell the leaders of the household to keep their pants zipped up and only zip it down for their wife?
Okay, so who they sleeping with? Who they sleeping with?
They're sleeping. Okay, there's nothing new under the sun. They're sleeping with the Jezebels that allow it.
No, see, I got you in the corner. Who they sleeping with? Who? See, I ain't got no sound effect.
They're sleeping with. Okay, there's nothing new under the sun. They're sleeping with the Jezebels that allow it. Yes. Okay.
Jezebel. See, no, they're sleeping with the very people that we just said. Is you the one that controls sex?
Okay, but if he's married and he's the lead, that's what I'm saying. You got to stop putting it all on the woman. He's the head of the household. He's the head. He's the head. That doesn't make it right that she's giving it up so he go and take it.
No matter what he is as a head, at the end of the day, who is he zipping his pants down with? Another man or a woman?
That's another episode because sometimes it can be men. That happened in real life, Lord. That's another podcast.
I got you in that corner and said that they're gonna eat you up on that one. So go ahead.
And you say I slept.
I tell truths.
You know you ain't telling the truth. That's a lie.
You really think God is going to believe?
What did you say?
That's a lie. And you're not zipping if they zipping their pants down, it's for women. The majority of the time a man is cheating is another woman.
I was talking about a personal story. I ain't talking about what other people experience. Okay, go ahead, Sharonda. Go ahead.
Personal. We're giving you the facts. We're trying to deal with the overall. We ain't trying to deal with your personal stuff. But go ahead, Sharonda. My bad.
I just have to ask you because you was like, if a man's sleeping with another woman, ultimately who controls sex. But when you go before God and you're a married man and you slept with another woman, who gave it to you? Do you think he's going to hold her accountable for staying faithful in your marriage?
Ma'am, what you just did was you backed in and backed out. Well, see, if the conversation was she just said.
You want us to answer your question?
Oh, no, because and that's what I'm saying. And we're not talking about God right now. We're talking about
Luke thinks. Oh my God! Luke, we're having a discussion. Luke thinks that yelling makes his comments right. But go ahead, Sharonda.
Let me move the mic away.
I'm done because I already know the answer. We already know God is not going to.
The question was, who was the man zipping his pants down for? Another woman. Yes. So who can fix women? Who in charge of fixing women? Men or women? Men or women? Who's in charge?
Wait, I just said women. Do you want to hear the answer? The answer is women. However,
so how is the head in the leader?
It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. It was your vows you took before God. It wasn't the woman you slept with who's outside of the
marriage. We're not saying, okay. How many women today are virgins? If we was back in the Bible days and you had 2 kids, what was the odds of you getting married back in the Bible days? See, we can't use the Bible because we are so far away from that. So the women that we're marrying today are not virgins.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. How can a man of God say we can't use the Bible because we're so far from that? You can never, okay, I'm not listening. A person that actually stands for God is not going to say we can't use the Bible. That's always going to be your key. That's always going to be your guide.
How many times have you read?
You're supposed to bring people back to Bible.
Ma'am, how many times you see in the Bible where a man married a woman with 6 or 2 kids?
Okay, let's see. I seen people in the Bible do that. You know why? Because they did that when their husband passed away. It was a rule that the brother had to take on his brother's wife if she was widowed. So they were getting their brother's leftovers in the Bible, Luke, because he had to marry the widow, kids and all.
Please don't do that. Okay.
They did. It's in the Bible, Luke. If the woman's husband died, his brother had to marry that wife if she was widowed because she had no way to take care of herself.
They didn't want that. No, that's what we're saying. That's why they did the brother, because they knew no other man would take up that. That's why they took the brother there. Because no other man would want that. Because in the Bible days, if I took you to the bedroom and the sheet didn't come out red, I could have known the man.
So the thing about it is, the Bible, there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. There was people marrying widows in the Bible who were not virgins. They were not virgins.
This ain't got nothing to do with this conversation. We're saying that women don't align themselves up with the word of God neither. So we can't use God. If we're going to use that, then we got to use what God said. Then the man married, he said, marry the virgin of your youth. See, we can't use that. That's what I said.
But I was only answering you when I was only replying to you. I was replying to you when you said, what man in the Bible was marrying a woman with kids and all that? I was replying to you and giving you facts that was happening. That's all.
That is not the same as a man saying, I want that woman with them 3 kids to be my wife. Because in the Bible, they knew the man would not take it. So that's why they issued the brother to do it. The brother, that's what am I my brother's keeper. That's why they asked the brother to do it, because no other man would want it. And she still had to be taken care of. That's entirely different. Yeah, it was one man stepping up going, yeah, I want that right there. No, that wasn't said. Don't try to mislead people with the Bible.
From that, what do we need? Because right now we started out with a young lady saying men carry stuff that we can't carry. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now we're on to a woman who's saying that men don't get a good deal out of marriage. Where do we really want to end?
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. Do men get a good deal out of marriage?
Say it again.
Do men get a good deal out of marriage?
So I will.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
You said, do men get a good deal out of marriage?
A good deal out of marriage? Yes or no? If you were the man, would you sign up for it? If you knew you could, all the stuff that you work for, you can lose half of it.
See, I don't think like that. I'm an optimist.
Well, we asked you if you think like that. We're saying, would you sign up for it knowing?
I answered your question.
Would you sign up for it? Would you sign up for it if you knew I could take half your stuff?
And
just because I'm not happy, would you sign up for it?
Well, I just said yes. I sign up for it. Yes,
okay. Okay. Well, I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's up to you. But I don't think you would. If you do that, if you right now, that man could take your son and take your kid.
What does it mean to walk by faith and not by sight? Because we all done. Listen now, are we going away from the word that bad? What does it mean to walk by faith and not by sight? So when you go, hold on, Luke, because I'm talking. I'm not cutting you off. You one mic, Luke. I'm talking though. That's out of respect. I gave you respect. I gave you respect when you was talking. What does it mean to walk by faith and not by sight? So walking by faith, I'm going into that marriage and I'm giving it to God, right? I'm going into that marriage not with a prenup mindset. I'm not going into that marriage thinking, oh, this marriage is going to fail, because when you manifest that in your mind, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to fail because you're already going into it with the failed mindset.
It's happening in real life. That's what the video was about. It's happening for real. It's not a make-believe thing. We got to deal with reality. The reality is a woman can divorce you today because she's not happy and take half your stuff and your family. You're talking to a man right now, ain't seen his child in over 10 years. Come on, let's be real.
So
this ain't no fake thing. This is really happening.
So let's talk about our marriages. What's happening in your life is real. What happened in our former marriage, where we've been abandoned, where we've been cheated on, all those things. But we're not bitter. We're not saying that we still can't find a good man. We're not saying that marriage doesn't work. We're not saying we're not going to get a deal.
Let me ask you a
We're not
question.
saying the next man is going to cheat.
David in the Bible was this guy was actually said to be a man after God's own heart. Would you consider him a good man?
Mm-hmm.
So how come when we talk about God, you say it's not fitting for the topic, but then you bring up God all the time? Okay.
No, I asked the question. I'm not telling nobody that you got to use faith on people because God don't give us dominion over other people. So what I'm saying is I can have all the faith in the world, but that won't stop that woman from divorcing me. That is not what that means. So we can't use that there. I'm asking, David was described as a man after God's own heart. By the standards of what she considered good men, would David be considered a good man? That's what I'm asking.
Yes. Let me tell you why I said yes. Yes, he is, and let me tell you why.
So you could have married him with all the wives, right?
And he fell hard.
You would have been cool with all the wives, right?
Let me answer.
Okay, I'm just asking. I want to be sure we understand what we're asking.
You can't keep cutting people off. I can't hear her talking points because you're talking over her.
He's a man.
He's what now?
He's a man after God's own heart, because even when he fell hard with adultery and murder, what did he do right after that? He went straight to God. He didn't keep doing adultery. He didn't keep murdering. He went straight to God, fasted, and asked for forgiveness. To the point of when he recognized that the baby that came from adultery, and he got up, received the forgiveness, and you have never heard about him cheating again. You didn't hear about him doing illegal murder. He still, say it again?
How many wives did he have?
Say it again?
How many wives did David have?
I don't know the exact number, but he had a lot.
Yeah. So,
but that was legal back then.
And that's what we're saying. So I'm saying by that standard, see, all the women that lived with David, did they have to deal with him cheating? Because they were sleeping with other women. Wouldn't that be considered cheating by your standard? He was sleeping with other women while he was married to women. They handled the cheating, didn't they?
That was something we talked about the other day. So those women, we talked about that on the other podcast that you had your other friend, the one who, I didn't see her face on that one, but Brenda, or I don't remember her name, but anyway, we talked about that where that was that time, right? That was the women in the Bible. They were used to seeing Abraham with multiple wives and his concubine and the maidservants. And okay, but we are not growing up in that time, because when Jesus showed up on the scene, he said, one husband, one wife, a marriage bed for a wife and a husband, right? All those extras in the bed, we kicking them out the bed, right? So we grew up in a time where all those extras were kicked out the bed. So what you're trying to do is say that the women of today should be okay with the husband doing a little cheating, because in the Bible, all those men had many wives. But that's not going to go, because the Bible also gives a woman an out. If she can't basically put up with the adultery, because that right there, that you're basically, when you go and sleep with another woman, when you're in a marriage, you're basically writing your marriage off, right? But then you guys want to get on here and say, oh, there's nothing in a marriage for a man. But you guys are the ones unzipping. And I'm not saying women aren't out here cheating, because they're cheating at an alarming rate. But you can't expect a woman to stay with a man because in the Bible, Sarah stayed with Abraham. You know, Sarah brought a woman to Abraham to have a child with. Back then, those women, they might have been built different. Okay, today we build a little different from them women. I mean, we haven't been brought up in that life. Sorry.
You're right. I agree. You was raised in a matriarch. But that's the point we're making. The point I'm making is, if them women wanted to keep their families together, and if I was to take you back to the 50s and 60s, it probably was the same thing. But they kept their family together because they were strength in family. The point here is, God forgive you for the mistakes you make. We're not saying that you got to accept it. We're saying this is what we're all designed for. I read a scripture yesterday saying you should think highly of other people than you think yourself. But when we put that whole thing, when the feminist movement came in, women then based their stuff off of their personal feelings. That's what we're saying. And I'm not saying you got to put up with anything. But the point here is, you can't turn the tide and try to make this right by saying, in family court, see? In family court, when I put out, if I was to take my child, they put out an Amber Alert, they coming to get me. If she took my child And I put out Amber Alert, ain't no Amber Alert going. See, it is one-sided. That's the point we're making. You know.
And that has everything to do with the court system. So that should be, and I said that in plenty of podcasts, y'all should be trying to get that changed, right? Your boy Trump, maybe, you know, because you got a lot of people on his wagon. He's signing off on things. Maybe y'all can get him to sign some things off for court. He's sign happy, right? Maybe he could sign off on some court system stuff, especially for, what is it called, the black MAGA community, the people that no matter what he does, they kind of ride for him. So.
We're having a serious conversation about what happens when a man loses in court. See, that's it. I don't see no jokes in this.
It's not a joke, but what I'm saying is you're coming after the woman and she's not the one that makes the laws of the land.
But that's not the point. Men are losing. That's the point.
Okay. So once again, we're talking about the fruit on the tree. We're not talking about the roots of the tree. We're just talking about what we see on the branches. I get it. I tell you it happens. I'm trying not to continue to compare your or other men's situation. I have friends who tell me the same thing. So I know it happens. I can tell you about what happens with women, but I won't. What I'm trying to say is right here. Let's go all the way to the beginning. Was the choices, I think Shay was trying to say this earlier, when we chose the woman, were we choosing it with God's blessing? Let's just be real. Were we giving it to God? Were we praying? Were we abstaining, honoring our bodies? Were we doing all these things? If we were not, then we can't be upset if God allows natural consequences like somebody being selfish and not controlled to
come off as
what they want. Is why women keep children as a ploy to hurt a man, because they were selfish. But if it was never lifted up to God, then it's not his responsibility to keep it. Number two, if we are saying the courts are against men, and I've seen it, I'm not gonna go in my own thing.
Are we saying that, or is it are they against men? Is the court, see, because you paint a picture like there's a possibility they're not.
She didn't finish what she was saying.
I literally just said that. If we're saying that it's against men, if we're saying that, then what we have to do is even the playing field, because you know the song, It's a Man's World. Guess what happened? There's something that somebody is actually benefiting from. We need to go to the root. Who's benefiting from a man not seeing their children? Who else? Not the black woman, not even the white women that are on this video. Who's really benefiting from you and another brother?
The welfare system, and that's held by who? Whites, yeah.
So let's fight the right enemy.
But you're still missing the point. Because
let's call it what it is.
No, we can't, because
child support is a business. They want that to happen because child support is a business. Listen, can I say something? That's why they sit back and laugh at all this red pill. There's nothing in a marriage for a man. And oh my goodness, I don't need a man, right? They're laughing at us because they're getting money in their pockets. Because that's more child support somebody got to pay. That's more division. It's the modern day Jim Crow. And my people, you need to wake up. Because it's not the white man that's doing it, okay? My father used to walk around saying, good old Mr. Harvey. It's not Mr. Harvey. Please don't play that video when I'm talking. Thank you. It's not Mr. Harvey. It's us. We're doing it to ourselves. And they're getting rich. Every time you talk about this red pill stuff, they're collecting more child support. More child support.
Now, they can't collect child support unless the woman phones with it. See, that's the point. The woman is not saying she don't want the child support.
Because you guys you're not coming together. You're not fixing the issues. You're feuding with each other.
The advocacy group. I have one. What are you talking about? Get your stuff straight. That's what we're saying. It doesn't work. I have a father advocacy group. The reason I can tell you thousands of stories is because I talk to fathers every day.
And I'm saying fix it. And I'm saying fix it. I'm saying fix it. Sitting around on Facebook talking to men who are broken is not fixing the issue.
I'm about to get back to the video.
I'm saying fix the issue. Talking about it's not fixing it.
Okay, how do you fix it?
Fixing it? Okay. Bringing families back together. We have to wake up and know who we are, because you know what? I just said you're making them richer. As you sit here feuding, as you sit here. Okay, all right. I'm not going to be able to talk. I don't want to talk over you. So I'll go ahead and play the video.
Because, bring the family. Just go ahead and marry some of these bad women and hope the family stay together. That's what you're saying. If I know I got the power, I can marry you and take off your stuff, I would do it. That's the point. They're incentivized to do it. That's what you said in the beginning. You're incentivized to leave your husband. Listen to the video. That's the point.
I don't need a video to tell me what's going on. My eyes are open. What's going on in the black community, sir? And you're not helping. You're not helping it.
Most answered very quickly, no, because men are useless. I mean,
this headline from The Hill, it caught my eye. Most young men are single. Most young women are not.
Young men have fallen faster than any demographic in America over the last 40 years.
It's a different world now. Like, we don't need men the way that they used to.
Nobody needs men. The future is female.
Men and women are drifting further apart, and society is crumbling because of it.
A fascinating debate has broken out about the value of marriage.
You've kind of got the TradCon versus red pill thing.
This men's rights crowd that sometimes just goes too far the other way.
You need to stop acting like grown boys and infants and actually become men.
Marriage is a bond, and it's a sacred bond.
It's a machine designed to extract resources from you.
Now many of the red-pilled have taken the position that it's bad for men to get married.
Hannah Pearl Davis, or just Pearly Things.
One of the most controversial faces in all of the internet.
She goes on to say that marriage is a terrible deal for men.
Because if me and you were in a business contract, you would never sign a contract where I am paid to leave.
Gee, what could go wrong there?
74% or something of divorces are initiated by women. Men have everything to lose, primarily their own children.
Men get killed by the courts and by divorce laws.
I had no idea that courts of family law were courts of equity, not courts of law.
Because in family court, you don't need evidence to accuse someone of abuse. You need no evidence. When you guys say get married young, a lot of these men don't know what they're signing up for, and you're not going to be there when their entire life falls apart.
Can we pause it for a second? Let's pause that for a second, because this is the issue I'm having.
Get him back.
On legal fees alone was about.
Can we pause that for a second? So the issue I'm having is what we're talking about is the things that black men and black women are saying to each other. Black men with the red pill, oh, there's nothing in a marriage for a man. The black women, oh, I don't need a man. This is the issue that we're having with our people. I see what's going on, but for you to put a video on with people who don't look like me talking about this issue, because they're not the ones that are saying this stuff, we are. And they're sitting back laughing at us because we are not coming together. Black families are not getting together. So me hearing statistics from a white woman is not fixing what's happening in the black community. It's not. They're not the ones saying this to each other. They're married. Those people are married. We're the ones leaving each other. Let's find some videos what black people are saying to each other. Because the black people, the black community is the one that's being broken. The black community is the one that's paying. Not saying white people don't pay child support, but you guys are irate, and it's a business. They're just going to keep collecting this stuff because we are not coming together as people.
Right now. Stop your
We're getting further and further away from each other.
Your rants are too long, okay? What we're saying, being that I am a black man, I'm the lowest man on the totem pole. If the white man's complaining, it got to be hella bad for the black man. That's what we're saying. Because if
he's the one getting your money. He's the one getting your money. And he's not complaining. This is a white woman that's complaining. These people aren't even married that you're putting on this video. They're not married.
What you just said was, y'all came out with the thing that the people in the video are not black. What we're saying is, if they are, which are not black, they're having trouble. They're getting it too.
They're not married, though. Give me some real people that are married that know what they really talk about. Not people looking behind Google at some statistics that they're not even contribute or not contribute. You know, like this is what I'm saying. You're picking out videos. I can go and find 50 million videos where black people are actually talking about they don't need a marriage.
The point of me playing the video is to make people aware. You have to make people aware of what's happening. If y'all was going to a place and women were getting raped, we would make people aware of it. We wouldn't say, well, wait, we want you to go to that place because we're striking fair. Don't go over there because that's what, no. You got to make people aware of what's happening. So if these people are non-black and they're saying it's happening to them, imagine what's happening to the black man.
But that's what I'm saying. They're not the ones saying there's nothing in America. They're not the ones saying it. They're not the ones doing this. We are. We're on the internet doing this, not them.
I will. I'm going.
Ma'am, I'm gonna say this one more time because it don't got to register with your mind. If the men in the video are not black and are non-black people, if it's happening to them, imagine what's happening to the black men. We're the lowest thing on the totem pole. It's even worse for us because we don't stand a chance.
It happens to everybody. And actually, everybody is talking about everybody. Everybody is unhappy with everybody. It's not just the black community who's experiencing divorce or child support issues or child visitation.
No, I didn't say it's just the black people, but if you look on the internet, the only people that are boisterous about it like this is the red pill community, is black people. The black people are the ones that are not. We are so far away from each other as a community, as a family. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about white people. Yes, I know they're talking about it, but at the end of the day, look at our families. It's broken. We are so far apart. Come on now. We're black. Let's not act like we don't know the black issues that are going on. You go on the internet, that's all you see is black people feuding with each other.
What color is Sukahana? What color is
the only thing I don't want?
What color is these people?
I don't want to put out this narrative that we are the only community. When we look at statistics fall with marriage, it's across the board. Now, do we divide ourselves within our community? Absolutely. But this white young lady who's putting all this extreme stuff out there, she's pulling from her own. And then you'll have the Hispanics that pull from their own, because the truth of the matter is they're seeing a lot of past marriages that did not work and they do not want it for themselves. So we might be more abreast to what we're saying about ourselves. And this is going to be so far off topic, but it's going to make my point. Back in the day, black women thought we were the only people who wore weaves because we talked about it. But it was white women who actually came up with it. And then when white women started talking about it, because it became popular, we realized, dang, we were dealing with the same thing. We all wanted to alter ourselves in some way, shape, or form. So the same thing was saying the black communities against each other. White people are too, Hispanic people are too, and marriage is just going down the drain. And it's because we're still not looking at the real enemy. We still think it's one another. We still think it's a black or a white woman or a white man. We still think it's a men against women. We think it's still homosexual. We still,
because it originally was, okay, the Jim Crow, right? Let's talk about it. And I don't want to because it's getting late. We know who the real enemy is, right? But the thing is, that's why I preference that we can sit back now. They can sit back and drink their beer and laugh at us because we're doing it to each other. That was my point. We're doing it to each other. We have division amongst ourselves. They no longer have to do it. They set the tools in place, right? Jim Crow, the feminist movement. Now they can sit back and we are just festering out their plan because we keep coming up with more and more division amongst ourselves. I get it. I understand. I have white friends. I see real stuff. I understand. But the only people that I hear, my white friends don't get on the phone with me and talk about this. The only people I hear talk about this is Luke. Every time you pick up the phone, it's always women. Oh, you guys are bad. This is the red pill stuff that I only hear our people talking about this crap. They don't talk about this in real life.
Before we get off of here, is the solution? I mean, because I hate talking about what the problem is only. What is the solution, y'all? Like, what do you feel in your heart could help a man realize that he does have a good deal when it comes to marriage? a woman knows that she can.
What do a man? Okay, let me ask you a question. What do a man get out? What do a man get out of marriage today?
What is the solution? That's all I want to know before I get off.
No, I'm asking you. What do men get out of marriage today?
But she asked her question first, respectfully. Come on now, everybody's question is important. Go ahead, Sharonda. We'll answer yours first.
I just want to know, what can we do to allow a man to know? Because I do not believe that the Bible says it's not good for a man to be alone.
There's nothing you can do because we live in a society that perpetuates the same thing. And until women wake up and smell the coffee, it will never be fixed. It will never be fixed because it's only one side. The women back in the 50s and 60s, y'all call them, you call them stupid and stuff. But they made sure they kept their family together. Even when the man cheated, they kept their family together. Okay, the point is.
Okay, I can't sit and listen to somebody professing to be a man of God saying there's not a solution because my God is bigger than that. Okay, to sit here and say there's no solution for people coming together is saying that we don't have faith in God, right? That's what that's saying.
Ma'am, God. See, this is why I'm stop giving you Bible lesson. God gave us dominion over things, not people.
I don't get Bible. Hold on now. I don't get Bible lessons from everybody because anybody saying that there's no solution and I know that my God is bigger than that. No, I read my Bible for myself.
You got authority over other people. You God control other people. When have you ever seen God control a person and make a person do what he wants him to do?
So what
you have all faith in the world, but you cannot make a man or woman do what you want him to do. So don't care if you allocate that lie.
Nobody's saying that you can make somebody do what you want to do, but I know that when I pray, it changes things. Hold on, I know when I pray, it changes things. When I fast and pray, it does change things. It might not change people, but you know something? Some solutions come around. Sometimes God will put things in that place. What do you mean it doesn't change people? God said that even a submissive woman can change the heart of a man. And you're saying that can't change people through your actions? That's a lie. Because my Bible tells me different.
The word of God says he did not give us dominion over people.
No. My actions, how I am to someone can change if I can change the heart of a man, okay, if I'm in a marriage and he's not a believer in Christ, but if he sees me being submissive, I can woo him over to Christ, and you're saying that that's not possible.
Man will still have to want to. You cannot change. He did not give us dominion over man.
Nobody's saying that, but your actions and the way you are can actually bring somebody to Christ.
Please be quiet. He will make every man worship God. He will make every man. If he gave us dominion over man, he would use that same dominion. He gave you free will to do what you want. And you don't control people. So I asked her, what's in it? What do a man get out of marriage today?
You didn't hear nothing I said. You just totally went over scripture, but that's okay.
What do a man get out of marriage today?
So a man gets someone that will be their rib. It covers their heart when you get number two.
Yeah, that's not reality. So if that was the case, if men were getting ribs that you're talking about, if they're getting ribs, why do we got this high divorce rate?
The reason why it's going to be hard for you, Luke, is because you won't even listen.
You don't listen long enough for someone to talk, and then you assume what they're saying. You keep cutting her off. You're cutting me off, and then you tell me that I'm telling you scripture, and you're saying it's wrong. I can't hear nothing Sharonda's saying. Sharonda, can you please repeat what you were saying? I can't hear what you're saying because you keep getting cut off.
It's not going to be fair because you don't control the show. And you about to get bounced. But at the same time, I'm saying if the stuff is happening to us for real, you ain't got nothing to say because it never happened to you. You ain't got nothing to say because you can't say what's not happening to us.
Okay.
That's the point. If somebody was taking something from you, then you have right to say what's happening. Then you would say, well, you know, I'm going to go do this.
Okay.
There's a real thing going on and you making light of it.
Luke, the funny thing is that we have said 1,000 times just in this hour and a half that all of us have been in a marriage and a divorce. And we have been dirty. So what I'm talking about, me, you say we're the only other people with you. And we're telling you things have went on that have been horrendous. If I was to recount the things that happened to me, I would think that all men are horrible and that marriage doesn't work. So then I would say, you can't tell me that I control people and it's not going to work. And I just don't, it's just, I won't. Because what I'm telling you is, just because that person did me dirty, just because it didn't work out and I chose badly, and I take accountability for that, I am going to go before the Father and do my absolute darndest to choose wiser the next time. And if it happens to fail, oh well, because those that are, what they say, that mourn now will eventually reap in joy. So when you say something hasn't been taken from me, you don't know the facts. When you say it'll never happen to me, you don't know what you're talking about. But I'm not
Let me ask you a
going
question.
to
You got a divorce, right? You got a divorce, right? Let me ask you something. Could you have took half of the stuff?
I could have. Yes, I could have.
See, that's what we're saying.
Did
you don't got that option. That's the point. If you lost anything, you lost it because you
Why
lost
are you
it.
yelling? You don't have to
Because
yell.
it's not the same.
You don't have to yell. So this is my thing, because I know you just threatened to kick me out. First of all, because I'm the co-host. Wait a minute. We can have a conversation. We don't all have to agree, but we don't have to yell over top each other. Let's one mic, okay? Because then it sounds like an argument when you're yelling, and she didn't say anything that warrant you yelling.
I'm just
saying, first and foremost, I'm a man. Please respect me as a man. You don't tell a man anything like that, okay? Let's get
Luke, we're on a platform. We have to respect each other on a platform, Luke.
At this point, I'm still a man. On the platform, out of the platform, on top of the platform, I'm still a man, okay? And like I said, I'm tired of regulating these things.
And this is why we have the problem that we have. I know what your role is, but we're on a respectful platform with 3 people talking. That's what I'm saying.
Like I said, the point here is we deal with stuff today. And we deal with stuff in a way, like I just said, we are actually dealing with things, and these things are real. And so for a person that
Yes.
Sorry, Sharonda, I did that because he just did that to me. I was proving a point, but okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at your pain because, listen, I know it's real. But here's the thing. Before we discuss something, no, not we. This is y'all platform. I'm just going to say if there's no solution, there really is no need to talk about it.
there can't be a solution because, see, when we get to talking, there's no sympathy or empathy for the stuff that's happening wrong to the people that's happening wrong to. See, when you make light of these things and say, well, keep getting married to these same people and get the same outcome, then you're going to get the same outcome every time. Because until it changes to where it is fair, where it's 50-50, like you left, right? You got the child, didn't you? See, now, can you imagine him taking your child? That's what we say. See, you can't even fathom that because that will never happen.
Luke. See, here's the thing. You already presumed my answer. I stayed quiet on purpose. And you presumed my answer. What did I ask him to do? I didn't want him to take the kid, like, away from me. I wanted them to have joint custody. Guess who? No. Because you asked the question.
Oh no, I'm telling her
He did not want that. It was either or for him. He didn't even think in his brain, how could I do it by myself? You know what he's waiting on? He's waiting on my child to become a teenager where the raising is done and now he could take over. Well, see, this is the thing. He's not even if he's ever watching this, he's not a bad man. He's not. He's just not a good husband. And so he might be to somebody else, praise the Lord. But what I'm saying is, is when we got divorced, because of that, that's why I didn't take it. But I did ask for shared responsibility. I don't want it by myself, Luke. So I'm
Oh, no,
sorry
I'm
that
not saying
somebody
you
would
wanted it by yourself.
abuse.
But what I'm saying to you, Sharonda,
You
is you
said,
got options.
what if
That's
he
the
took my
point.
child?
You
I'm
got
saying,
options. See,
make him have
we
share.
as men, see, I don't have an option. There is no option for me. See, I either play the game the way they
First
tell
of
me to
all,
play it
you
or
weren't
I don't play
married,
it
you
at
already
all.
said.
You got options. That's what we're saying.
First of all, you said you weren't married. Didn't you say you weren't married?
What
So
they
if
got
that's
to
the
do,
case, by law, because when you're in a court case and you're doing divorce, child support and child custody and child visitation is a part of it. It wouldn't be that she gets to keep them. But if there was no tie of marriage, no commitment according to the law, then yeah, it's gonna be her word against yours. When she want to do it, when she don't want to. Now you got to get
the
a
question
attorney for
ain't,
that.
the
Blah blah
question
blah
ain't
blah
that who
blah. It's
won?
gonna be
Ma'am, who wins? Who wins?
nobody. That's what I'm trying to tell
Ma'am,
you.
see that,
Nobody
okay,
wins if you
ma'am,
don't
hold
do it
on,
the
see,
right way.
okay, Sharonda, I don't, no
Nobody.
disrespect. If I tell you I ain't seen my child in 10 years, how did I win? Where was the nobody, bro?
I just said nobody. I
No,
didn't say
that's the whole
somebody.
thing.
I said
If you ain't seen, well, hold on. If you ain't seen your child in 10 years, and I ask you who won? Who
and
won,
I don't say
Sharonda?
nobody.
You don't say
Because she
nobody.
doesn't have the support. Because she doesn't have the support of the real
Ma'am, come
father.
off of that.
He does.
Ma'am, come
The
off of
child
that. Come
doesn't
off of
have.
that. Ma'am,
The
come off
child
of
does
that.
not
Ma'am,
have the
please get off of
father.
that. If
And
you couldn't
then
see your child for 10 years, I guarantee you wouldn't be talking about nobody won. I guarantee you that.
I would still be saying nobody won.
No,
Because
you
Luke,
would not.
I'm thinking
Because see, it can never happen to you, so you can't even fathom it.
once again, you're not talking through facts. You told us not to use our personal spirits, and you said look at it whole as a totality. If you look at it in a
That's what the video said.
totality,
Y'all
nobody is winning.
stopped the video because then it wasn't no people of color. But I'm telling you that this thing is universal and it's everybody. And all the people in here, this
And
man just said he paid
nobody
$200,000
wins.
to see his child.
The fact that you can still sit here and
And you
think that
saying ain't nobody
somebody
losing.
won, it boggles my mind, because broken families does not help anybody. I don't care what you say.
Ma'am, ain't nobody
I'm
thinking
sorry.
about broken families when they ain't seen their child. That's the point. When you gotta pay $200,000 to see your child, ain't nobody thinking. Man, let me get off this podcast. Y'all retarded. That's crazy. That is retarded.
A second. First of all, that's disrespectful. I don't like people saying the R word. I worked with people in communities, and that right there, to say that word is disgusting coming from a Christian man. Sorry.
Retarded is retarded.
I don't take it as disrespect. I take it as hurt. And the fact that there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, and a lot
Ain't no healing need to be done. It ain't no healing need to be done.
Okay.
Like I said, if somebody can take your child and you don't have rights to your child, I don't give a darn what. It's still messed up. And ain't no both parties hurt. Only one of them get hurt.
Hold on a second. But can I ask what is okay? But because somebody doesn't agree with you and you go to calling names, she hasn't disrespected you, nor have I on this platform. But you want to call people retarded because they don't agree with you? That's on another level.
Rewind the tape. I didn't call nobody retarded. I said
that's what you just said to both of us.
That's retarded.
You said y'all are.
I said that's retarded.
No, you need to go back and watch. You said y'all are retarded, and I was sitting in mute quiet. But to say something like that because people don't agree with you is crazy. This is crazy. All right, can we end this now? Because we didn't come to a solution. It's getting late. Let's end this. Yeah, it's late.
Like I said, it's a serious nature. It's a serious joke. When a person don't see their children, I don't care how you credit it, you lost. This is why they made the movie, because men are committing suicide at an alarming rate because they don't win in family court. And y'all
unlifing, you can't say that word on YouTube. Unlifing themselves. Really though? Listen, I'm not trying to have the platform taken down. I'm telling you that that's a trigger word on YouTube. And you're telling me to shut up, and I'm trying to respectfully remind you of the words we can't use. Can we end this? Because I see that you're not. Yeah, let's end this.
You can get off, and we can finish it. Bye. Adios.
Wow. Okay. And this is what I deal with every day. But okay.
No, you don't deal with this every day. Get out of here. You gotta go. Like I said, when you're talking about something that's close and dear to the heart, and men, like I said, are losing their lives over this. There was a man that went to court and was seeing his child every day, and taking the money. He got in the arrears because they were taking inappropriate money out of his account. He went and paid the arrears. The lawyer that represented the mother said she wanted $3,000 too. He went to jail. He lost his job. See, I don't take this stuff as a joke. And you saying both people lost. No, he lost. That's what I'm saying. He lost. She didn't lose nothing. She's sitting there and she's getting her money every month. Whether the child is raised right or not, he's losing at this point in time. That hurts him. That's what I'm saying. And nobody's taking it serious. Driving like it's a joke. Well, you know what? Both people are losing because the family is losing. No, we don't take
when
it that way.
When I say everybody, Luke, I'm saying everybody in the family, mostly the
child. But ma'am, at this point in time, until women make changes and say, well, we're going to do this and this and this, it's going to be the same. Because right now, you got people right now that sleep with basketball, football players, and all that in efforts to have a child so they can get child support.
And those
That's a reality. But if you change them wrong, then that would stop too.
It's okay.
They not worried about who's using them.
Whatever I'm going to be praying for not just you, but everybody. Because at the end of the day, not just our people out there laughing at us, it is the enemy over there saying my plan is working so good that we can't even get them to get on the same accord on a podcast.
That's what I was saying earlier. And I'm showing you, he's showing us that right now. That's what I was saying earlier. Because you have people who think like that.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. Have you ever been,
right here. Starting at the bottom.
Shantae, have you ever been?
My show name is Shay. What was the question?
If we had to start right now, I'm gonna just give my solution. Whether anybody takes it or not, throw it in the trash if you like. But this is for the viewers out there. Men, there are definite women out here who are cunning and who are after your money, and they do not care about you. And so you need to be very, very aware that the God who created you and them will give you small whispers, and people call them red flags, to let you know who should be in your life and who should mother your children. Okay? If you do not take that part seriously, do not come back on the back end when bad things happen and hold anybody else accountable. Women, there are men out there who will say that they love you and they will even act like it, but their intention really is just to get what you can give them. Most of the time, it is a very physical thing. And once they have it, they don't care about you. So if you don't get with God and let that small whisper, the Holy Spirit, tell you the red flags to pay attention to, you will then end up mothering and getting committed to men who don't care about you and will get the next physical thing. So the end of the day and the beginning of the day is this. Let's get with the Creator who created us, who knows the end from the beginning. And when we try to do it on our own, we have to hold it up on our own. And when we try to hold up something on our own, it's always going to fall. Period, point, and blank. And if you don't know God, hit us up. We all know him, though we may not sound like it sometimes. We do. And we would love to show you that, because we can't go in the past. We can't take Luke's situation away, Shay's situation away, Sharonda's situation away, and there are children and there are past hurts. But just because today looks like it's raining, it doesn't mean the sun doesn't come out. So don't stay discouraged. Know that it could be horrible, but it could also be good. That's my solution, and I'm going to peace out. I appreciate this platform. I really do. And I just pray. When I tell you I pray that we choose wisely by the Holy Spirit, I just pray we all, and I'm putting both my hands up. And that's for me, because I do believe in marriage and I know what it's meant for. And I pray to do it again correctly this time. I'll talk to y'all later.
Amen, Sharonda. That was well said. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate that. God bless. And I just want to say, you know, just to add my last talking point, I will say that, you know, at the end of the day, I also believe in marriage, and I believe in people coming together. And right now, we living in the last days, y'all. We living in times where, you know, Satan is sitting back laughing at this. He's laughing at how people are feuding with each other, families are not coming together. And so when she talked about the Creator, and if you don't know God, if you put him first in your marriage, because if you stand before God and you give that marriage to God, all things are possible with him. And that's not to say things are going to be perfect. You're going to have some ups and downs in your relationships. But you know something, that's why there's a power in praying. So, you know, you get down on your knees and you pray, you know, or you go seek help, you know, therapists or counsel, marriage counsel, whatever have you, you know, to try to fight for your marriage, because I do believe that. And if the Bible is saying that, you know, a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. The Bible is not telling us that there's nothing in a marriage for a man and there's nothing in a marriage for a woman. So hold on a second, but you let her say her last talking points and you're cutting me off.
On for hours.
But she said her talking points and you didn't cut her off respectfully.
Because she's a guest and she got out.
But that's rude what you're doing, Luke. I'm saying my last talking points.
Well, say she had to be a virgin. If we want to use God, let's use the whole thing. Don't use part of it.
But these are my talking points. You know, so never mind. You know what? God bless everyone.
Like I said, use the whole point. Don't use part of it, use the whole thing. It says a man married the virgin of your youth. See, if you were a virgin, you wouldn't have these issues. It wouldn't be a problem. That's what we're saying. So we can't use that when we're marrying women with already pre-made families. So again, that's the reality of it all. But you know, I mean, you can say what you want and put it however you like it. At the end of the day, it's the same thing. See, if we're going to use the Bible, let's use all the Bible. Don't use part of the Bible. Let's use it all. And that way,
Luke, respectfully, Luke, Sharonda said her parting words, and you want to cut me off when I'm saying mine. She also spoke about the Bible. You didn't say nothing to her, but we see what it is. But bless you, and I'm going to keep on praying for you in this platform anyway.
like I said, people, if you're going to play with the Bible, do the whole Bible. The Bible says for a man to marry the virgin of his youth. The reason he's telling that so that that woman won't have any issues when you go into the marriage. Usually if a woman is a virgin, the marriages, go look at the statistic. Women and men stay together when you do it God's way. God's way was, if we're going to talk about God's way, we're going to talk about getting married as a virgin. No, there are no 50-year-old virgins today, but in the Bible, there would have been, because see, they understood the seriousness of what God was saying, because that's what really pertains to keeping family together. We can't be out here doing all this crazy stuff and thinking, okay, well, yeah, well, now we're going to go ahead and do it God's way. That's the same thing with Adam and Eve, saying, okay, well, you know, we ate the fruit. They couldn't go back into the garden. After they ate the fruit, they were removed from the garden. Why? Because they broke the bond. There you go. So when we go out here and have sex with other people, and they're not virgins, you're not marrying a virgin today. You're marrying a woman. Let's deal with realities. That's what we're saying. So this is why we got half the problem. It's not this, that, or all the other things, but this is the society we live in. And the society we live in don't follow God. So why would we throw God into these things when it's just a little bit? Because none of these people were thinking when they were going out having these children of God.